So part 5 of our law student Q&A session. Question 17 is, what is a law school semester and average classes like? So, I mean, the semester is you taking, it can be 4 to 5 courses. There's different types of courses. Again, this is hard for me to answer properly just because different law schools are going to have different kinds of setups. There are commonalities, though, lectures versus seminar classes. There's research intensive classes. So there's so many different elements here, so it's hard for me to say what the average class is like, simply because of the nature and topics involved in law school courses. It's hard to say what the average one is, but I guess, I do know that one thing that's common is that, there's particular subtopics to every legal course, and there's, each week you may take on a different particular subtopic, and it's just building off each other as you go week by week, expanding your knowledge, deepening your knowledge. I'll give you an example, something like contract law. You may start off with the simple stuff like what is a contract, and then you move into elements of a contract, and then you can get into the more complex and nuanced elements there. So yeah, a lot of it's building off knowledge week by week, regardless of your course. I would say that's the biggest commonality. Question 18, best studying methods. For me, unquestionably, the best studying method was doing practice exam questions, and I was blessed with a great study group we formed early on, and our professors were kind enough to provide us with practice exam questions, and that really helped get in the frame of mind with answering law school exam questions. And it also helps you realize where your shortcomings and where your strengths are with regards to what you're studying, because you don't know what you don't know, and by doing practice exam questions, you see exactly where your shortcomings were and where you were strong compared to your peers when you guys share your answers, and you see what someone else talked about, and maybe you talked about something that they didn't, and you can discuss the relevancy of it if it needed to be discussed. So a lot of good conversations can develop from there. And just by doing that, you're just by discussing it and doing those answers regardless of how good or bad they are, you're studying in that sense, and hopefully the stars align on exam day if you do that enough and you prep hard enough and you put in real honest efforts for that and you correct your shortcomings where you see them. And again, going back and reviewing and even doing questions multiple times can help you get in that frame of mind. And then when it comes time for an exam question, you're already in that frame of mind because you've done practice questions. So question 19, are there any courses recommended in a BA degree prior to law school? The short answer is no, because you can come from any degree before law school. Like as far as I know, you can apply to law school with any degree from any discipline prior. I will say that philosophy courses and logic can help with understanding the LSAT, at least in my personal experience they did, because they give you a strong grounding in formal and informal logic, depending on which ones you take. And they kind of get you into that LSAT mindset, really, where you don't feel as lost and confused by the material because you understand kind of the basis of logical reasoning and things of that nature. So I'd say if you want to take some philosophy electives, that certainly is not going to hurt you when you go to study for the LSAT. Question 20, how does academic life in law school differ from undergrad? So again, it depends on how intensive your undergrad academic life was. So generally speaking, I think it's safe to say that law school is going to be more intensive than most undergraduate programs. And you're probably going to spend more time outside of class studying than you did in undergrad in general for most people. Obviously there's more intensive undergrad programs where maybe law school actually will be less time than you were spending on your undergrad studies. But how much more intense? That's going to depend on your academic background.